Hi, welcome to Personal Learning Networks and Environments, presented by me, Tara Graves, for the Washoe County School District 21st Century Learning Division. The objectives for the webinar are as follows: understand the importance of a personal learning network, briefly explore tools and resources for personal learning environments, identify dimensions of 21st century learning which are supported by PLN resources and tools, and motivate you to explore PLN resources and tools more in depth. First, let's take a look at our guiding framework, which we call the 6 dimensions. And this one-page guide is what we use to work with teachers as we are helping them change their practice in the classroom. This is derived from the Microsoft Innovative Teaching and Learning Research. As you can see across the bottom, there are 6 arrows. These are the 6 dimensions: collaboration, knowledge construction, real-world problem solving and innovation, use of technology for learning, self-regulation, and skilled communication. And how you use this guide is to start at the bottom of one of the arrows, depending on what type of learning activity you are creating. And you look at the indicators in the boxes. And taking a look at your learning activity, you look at the box and it says, for this one, the activity's primary purpose is problem solving. So if I take a look at my lesson or the activity and say, yes, it is, the primary purpose is problem solving, then I can move up a level. And the next criteria is students are working on a substantial real-world problem. If I can say yes to that, then I move up to the next one. And this would be the highest level of real-world problem solving and innovation, if I could say yes to all 3 of these. And this top level is the activity requires innovation, the creation of a product, method, or idea new to the student. So when the video stops, you'll be directed to a link where you can download this guide. And keep in mind that this guide is really a very short summary of what is found in the Innovative Teaching and Learning Research. But you can also get links to more in-depth information for each one of these dimensions. Okay, so thinking about all of these different acronyms, we have PLC, PLN, PLE. The PLC, I think most teachers are familiar with. We know these as professional learning communities, and most often it takes place at a school during designated times. Typically it is with our grade level or content area, and it's mostly extended collaborations. We are collaborating throughout the school year, and it's usually within a particular work environment, much like a school. Usually not self-selected, meaning we didn't pick this group of people to work with. It's usually determined by grade level or content. And it's very static and controlled. So there are expectations placed on you by your administrators, what needs to happen during the PLC time. It's not driven by the members themselves necessarily, but really meaning to focus on a goal that is set forth usually from external sources. And I really like this graphic here on the PLC cycle. The PLC then is the who. Who are the people? A PLN now, also the who, but the P changes from professional to personal. Personal Learning Network. It's an informal network that consists of the people a learner interacts with and derives knowledge from in a personal learning environment. In a PLN, a person makes a connection with another person with a specific intent that some type of learning will occur because of that connection. So again, it's informal. There's a specific intent for learning. It is self-selected, meaning you've chosen who you want to network with. It's fluid and dynamic. So because it is fluid and dynamic, it's more authentic to our natural learning attitudes and inclinations. It changes depending on what we're learning. And the people can come and go. More people can join. People can hop in and out as they see fit. It's much more personal to the learner. I like this graphic here because it breaks it down into 3 parts. So synchronous, meaning everything is happening at the same time. Asynchronous, where people are in and out at different times. It doesn't have to be, people don't have to be participating at the same time. And then semi-synchronous, where it's kind of a little bit of both. It could be close to real time, but it's as time allows for people. And here are some tools that are recommended that people use for these types of personal learning networks, and these would be the environments that they would take place in, or the tools. Another graphic I like is it really shows you what are the purposes of a PLN. Who are the people that support these types and categories of learning? So take a look at all around on the different bubbles. And PLNs are important to everyone, but especially important to teachers, because education is changing so fast, and we need to be able to connect with other people who are innovative and are doing creative things and having high student engagement. We want to be able to be in touch with them to support us as we grow and we change our practice. This next graphic shows you the relationship between the PLN and the PLE. So if you take a look at the big orange circle here, that's the environment. That's where the networking takes place. It's the vehicle. It's the platform where it lives. The personal learning network is the people, the who, the content. Okay, and then here is just showing some web tools, how that kind of fits in. But the web tools really closely work as part of a learning environment. So to clarify, the PLE, or the personal learning environment, is the where. They are the systems which support PLNs, the tools and the infrastructure. So think about the PLE is the vehicle of your learning, whereas the PLN is all of the passengers in the vehicle. They're systems that help learners take control of and manage their own learning, and include support for learners in setting their own goals, managing their learning, looking at content and process, and also being able to communicate with others in the process of learning. Here's some various online tools, or what you might know as Web 2.0 tools, that are typically part of many learning environments. So a lot of social media sites, some video sharing, social bookmarking, and we'll take a look at a few of these examples. like this graphic. So this is how to grow your personal learning network with social media. And this is a teacher. And if you go around the circle, you can see the ways in which this teacher is using social media and in what ways. So finding and reading guides about how other educators have used social media to grow their personal learning networks. So this is including Yahoo and Google and other sites that have information databases. Using social networks to discover new people to add to your personal learning network, like Facebook. Social media is not only being used for keeping in touch with friends and family, it's connecting professionally as well. Any educational leader you can think of that you would like to know more about or be more in touch with, if you follow them on Twitter or you friend them on Facebook, it really does harness that power of social media and allows you to be learning constantly. And in the places where you do a lot of your living, if you're on social media already, your learning can come to you where you are socializing with friends and family. So finding ways to connect with others by leaving comments and starting conversations. Many of the sites allow for that commenting or liking or pinning, ways to curate resources and knowledge that people that you are friends with on social media are sharing. You're not having to go out and look for things because if you follow certain people, you will always see what they're doing, what they're involved in, what kind of resources are they coming across. Sharing lesson plans and presentations and documents using like LinkedIn or Tumblr. Also any sites like Google Docs or Dropbox. Not very social, but you can share resources there as well. There are some social aspects to those, but not specifically like Twitter or Facebook. And then sharing tools and resources, and it's mentioning Classroom 2.0, which is an online community I will show you in a few slides. And then using social bookmarking services as well. We'll look at that. The first tool I'd like to talk about is Twitter. Twitter's been around for a while, and it's gotten better over the years, and with what people use it for. It is not just people letting other people know of the most trivial things that they're doing, but really Twitter is the largest educators PLN in the world. So if you've never heard that before, I'm glad that I'm the one that's able to tell you. You need to get on Twitter. If you want to stay current in best practices for teaching and integrating technology and creating more engaging classroom environments, creating more engaging learning activities, Twitter is the place to be. And I have my Twitter name is at @NVTaraGraves, and there's our divisions at WCSD21, and then our school district actually has a Twitter as well at WCSD Tweet. Now the chats, let me click on this one here. The chats are scheduled, so these would be synchronous. These are scheduled chats on Twitter, and I'll show you what this looks like in a minute. But these are all arranged by content, okay, and what days of the week they're happening. Okay, and you can just go through and find things. These are all education related. You can go and find things that are of interest to you. And it's very interesting how the chats work. They're typically for an hour, and there's someone who moderates the chat. And what they do is it's not audio. It's all within Twitter. And Twitter allows you to use 140 characters in a tweet, but you can also link to videos and images. But it really allows you to, in real time, be a part of a conversation. So let me go to Tweetdeck. Now, Tweetdeck is a great tool because it allows you to follow conversations that are going on Twitter without it just being just an onslaught of tweets that make no sense. When you follow someone on Twitter, it comes to you in your feed, what's called a feed, but you can also sort out conversations by using the hashtag. And I use this when I go to conferences. There's a lot of activity happening at conferences, and Twitter is probably the #1 tool that is used to filter out all the conversations. So if you look here, there's another hashtag. So if I would search this hashtag EdTech, it would also filter out any posts that people left or any tweets that people did with that hashtag. So each event, conferences, they'll give you a hashtag, and they ask you to use that as you are communicating throughout the conference. Now, these are all the people, all the tweets that people have left. Now, this happened in June, but I still like to look through it because it really is difficult sometimes to follow everything as it's happening, especially a big conference like ISTE. But you can always go back and look at what people have shared. So that's one way to go through and filter out. So if you are interested in investigating Twitter more, I highly recommend it. But you do want to get something like TweetDeck or Hootsuite, and all these will be linked in on our Pinterest board to allow you to manage them. You don't want to just go straight to twitter.com and start looking from there. It's just too much. So definitely using hashtags to filter out what you're looking at. And again, the @ symbol indicates that that's someone's Twitter name, so that's the user. Hashtag is used for tagging or filtering out content. I really like this little infographic here, and it's basically a graph of the Twitter life cycle, and the interest level is going up one side, and the time since you created your account goes along the bottom. And I actually have real life experience with the one that you see that starts with OMG. OMG, someone just RT'd or passed on what I said. I actually had an educational leader, I can't remember who it was now, but an educational leader who I follow. I follow their blog, I follow them on Twitter. I really like what they have to say, what they have to share. But I got retweeted. That means somebody liked what I had to say, and they retweet it. So what that means is it's like forwarding on a message to. So this person, I can't remember, sorry about that, but the person that retweeted me is basically saying to all the people that follow him, hey, this is pretty cool, check this out. And so I actually had that little experience where I was excited that somebody famous actually liked what I had to say. And another thing about Twitter as well is that it can put you in connection with people who you didn't think were reachable. We all have, authors and celebrities and whatnot, people that we look up to or people that we admire or we like the work that they do. And you seriously can be in touch with them in a matter of minutes. It's powerful to be able to be connected in such a way. So that's Twitter, and there'll be a lot of resources available for you to check out, and I highly recommend that you do. Our next one is Edmodo. Now, Edmodo is what's thought of as like Facebook for schools. And basically, Edmodo, let me show you, Edmodo has all these communities on there. And you can follow one or more. And let me just click on Show All so you can see all the different communities that are there. So depending on what you teach, you can follow a certain community. And let's say I want to join the math community. So I could go on and see all the different things that people that follow the math community are sharing. And what's really powerful is, let's say you teach fractions and you teach it in your class and you teach it the same way all the time, and maybe you're just looking for something more interesting or a more interesting approach or another resource. You can seriously post something in this community and have people, teachers from all over the world, sharing resources with you. This is also a good way for you to connect your students with students around the world in the same age level or studying the same topic or whatever it is. So learning communities in that way really help you to make connections. And you can see, you click on there and see who these people are. Click on their profile. And it's also a nice way to share, just share resources. Okay, so Edmodo, if you haven't checked out those Edmodo communities, I highly recommend doing that as well. Online communities, these are three that I'm going to highlight, but there are others as well. I really like these because they have been around for quite a while. This first one, the Educators Pln. This is what it looks like. So this is a little different because it's not living through social media such as Twitter or Facebook or something. It has an actual site, and they're using what's called a Ning, N-I-N-G, and basically it's like a website, but it's collaborative. So people can add content once you've joined. Most of these you have to be approved by the managers or the moderators of the PLN. But once you've joined, then you get opened up to a world of possibilities, of connections to people, of resources. Here, there's some videos here. I mean, you name it. So that's kind of fun too. And most of these Nings also have, someone who is on Twitter and Facebook as well that communicates with the members. Okay, so that's Educators Pln. The next one is Classroom 2.0. And this is really about using Web 2.0 in the classroom, social media, and more. Again, videos, there's forums, other resources to events you can participate in. You really can be as participate as much or as little as you want. You can really find things that you are useful to you really just in a few minutes. Okay, and then the next one, edweb.net. Now this one's amazing too because it not only has different groups and communities you can join to be part of discussions, but it also has free, they have free webinars all the time that you can take advantage of for just about any topic you can think of. Okay, and they're all the time. So resources, discussions, webinars, you can either participate live or watch a recording. Just a wonderful site. And there are different levels of participation. A lot of times when you first get started, you just want to be a lurker, which means you just want to see what people are saying and see what people are sharing and just kind of pop in and out as you wish. Then you might move to actually joining one of the groups and communities and starting to contribute and respond as people are posting, to the point where then you actually start becoming a contributor of information and not just consuming the information. So there's definitely a life cycle to your participation. And again, what we say to kids, the more you put into something, the more you get out of it. It's the same as it being a part of an online community, such as any of these. Social bookmarking is a tool that you can use as one part of your PLN. Is following people on Pinterest or Digo. If you're not familiar with these, I'm going to go ahead and show you our Pinterest boards. And think of these as like digital versions of like a bulletin board where you would keep clips of things that you like or things that are interesting to you. Okay, so we have several boards. Some of them are still under construction. Here's the one for this course, or this workshop. And all of these are pins, but they're not just images. They're actually links, but they're just arranged in a visual format. So if, let's say, oh, I think this one looks interesting, I want to look at this. I can click on it, and it makes it bigger. And you can see the social aspect of it below. So if I wanted to comment on this pin in particular, I could. But if I wanted to visit the site, I can click here, and it takes me to the website. Because when I pinned this, I wasn't pinning like, hey, look at this image. I was actually pinning this article on the website, and Pinterest finds images that are there and it associates it with the website itself. So now I can look through and see. Now when I'm on Pinterest, this is where the PLN part comes in. Let's say I find a handful of pins that I really like that someone's posted. Well, I can follow them. I can follow everything that they pin, so I could follow all their boards, or I can just pick and choose, like, oh, I want to follow, you know, this one and this one. And so that's where that personalized learning happens, is you get to choose what information you're following or curating. Digo is another social bookmarking tool. It's not as cool looking as Pinterest, and let's see, I'm going to go into Digo, and this is one of my Digo libraries. But same idea, your bookmarking websites, you can arrange them in lists. You can also definitely want to use tags. Those are very important with all social media and things that aggregate content. You want to make sure you include tags so people can filter out quickly and get to more specific information that they're looking for. But this is Digo. And Digo also has a highlighting tool and commenting tool, which makes this very interactive. It's not just sharing bookmarks. It's actually people getting, you can create groups as well. Like, so if you want to create a group for your class or for a PLC group, You can do that with Diigo, and people can collaborate on a list together. So let's say all the 6th grade teachers are going to contribute to a list. Well, they just have to give out one link to parents for them to be able to view all the links that all the 6th grade teachers are finding that are quality resources for the kids. So really fun way to not only work together as a team with your colleagues at your school, but as you find more and more people that you follow on any other social media, you can collaborate on just about anything. So keep that in mind as well. So believe it or not, video sharing can be part of your personal learning network. Again, finding people that are posting exceptional videos on YouTube, follow them, then you are adding them to your personal learning network. YouTube then becomes the environment, one of the environments that you're using. Okay, and we do have a YouTube channel. We have organized it with playlists. But right now we're using this as a repository for videos that we have created. So if you choose to follow us, which I hope you do, then we become part of your personal learning network. And it's pretty easy to set up an account for yourself or for your classroom that you can share videos on. And it really makes it nice to have that type of access. Podcasts are another way to get information from other people. Most podcasts would be considered one-way learning, meaning you're listening to a recording or you're watching a video. But most of the time, podcasts are audio only. And you can subscribe to them, and if you have, and it's just not for iPods, that's not what the pod means in podcasts, but you can subscribe to them and have it on your phone and always be able to keep up with the latest episode from somebody that you like to watch, or listen to, and learn from them as well. It's mostly consuming information. But again, it's a nice way to learn, especially on the go. Things you can listen to in your car, or when you're walking on a treadmill or going for a walk. You could have that playing and be learning anywhere. With all social media or anything that you're doing online, you need to mind your manners. And we tell this to kids as well. It's called netiquette. So online or internet etiquette. How do you behave online? And most of the time kids, hopefully have been taught what manners are, and they know what's polite, what is rude, and so on. Well, in the online world, it's not as easy to determine tone of voice or body language or facial expressions, because most of the time we can't see those people unless they're posting a video directly to us. So part of being a good digital citizen is observing netiquette, okay, and realizing that you are leaving a digital footprint, and anything that you do online, you are portraying yourself with what you post and what you say and images that you post. So keeping that in mind is very important, especially the more that you get into a digital personal learning network. So think back to the 6 dimensions, and I want you to take a look at some of the descriptors here and see if you can figure out which 3 dimensions are being mentioned. When the video stops, you'll have a chance to look at the 6 dimensions guide again, and in the box below it, go ahead and write down the 3 dimensions that are supported most by personal learning networks. Welcome back. Did you get them right? Skilled communication, collaboration, and use of technology for learning. Looking at skilled communication, our students are in constant communication with their friends and with people they may never meet face to face. But for it to be considered skilled communication, it has to be extended. So meaning it's not just a single thought or a tweet or a post. It's a series of thoughts that put together a connected message. Also, looking at multimodal, technology allows us to do this easily. We can insert an audio file with images. We can create videos with interactive elements to it. And the particular audience is very important, especially when you're helping students create their own personal learning networks. They need to think about who is the audience for the message that I am designing. Collaboration, they're absolutely number one reason why you need to have a personal learning network is to collaborate with other teachers and to have students collaborate with other students. Working together or in pairs, shared responsibility. Just depends on the type of learning activities you're doing, but thinking about personal learning networks, the biggest part is that people are working together and that it's interdependent. Hopefully it's things that are coming across from your learning network is helping you to see bigger connections to the world and hearing different viewpoints. Our third one is use of technology for learning. You can have a personal learning network without technology. So let's think back, way before we had the internet. What did we do to connect with people that we'd want to learn from or to teach people? Typically it would be people we work with, people in our building, people that we meet when we take classes, friends and family that don't live near us. We could get on the phone and talk. So think about things like that. Also like journal articles, TV shows, anything that contributes to your learning can be a contributor to your network. More ideas for PLNs and tools and resources to help you develop your PLN are found on the Pinterest board. And we'll go ahead and take a look at that again. Some people find it helpful to diagram their PLN to see where are areas where I have a lot of support already and where are areas where I could probably use more support. So this here is an example. Let's see if I can get it to scroll better. Here we go. And so she's got here friends and family, professional development, and school. Sorry about that. I'm trying to get this to settle here. And around each of those bubbles, she has different bubbles for more specifics. I can't get it to enlarge for you. So thinking about what your own diagram might look like. Where are areas where you have a lot of support and what kinds of support you get versus areas where you probably maybe don't have anything. So there's some mind mapping tools in the PLN board and links to several of the other resources that I've mentioned. So here's that article. How to build a PLN with Web 2.0 tools. This is another webinar by Kathy Schrock, so if you're interested in watching another webinar, that one's a great one. Okay, again, just some more resources. So if I click on this one, I think is actually the Wikipedia definition of a PLC. So there's all kinds of different resources in there. And our disclaimer that we are using for these webinars, please keep in mind that student data and student privacy are very important. And whenever you have students using any of the tools that we talked about, you need to make sure that you have gotten approval from your administrator. You've also gotten approval from parents, and that you're familiar with the terms of service for whatever tool that you're choosing. And on our Pinterest boards as well, there's a board that talks about AUP, so acceptable use permission, and also privacy concerns. There's some great articles on there that really help you understand those different laws. So please be aware of that. If you want to learn more about being a 21st century educator, you can visit our website at wcsd21.com. On there also is a page for our courses that we offer for teachers. Follow us on Twitter at WCSD21 and also follow our Pinterest boards as well. I thank you very much for your attention and your participation. You can reach me at that email address right there. Please follow me on Twitter, and the link to this slideshow is below. Thanks a lot.